Good morning, everybody. Myself, Dr. Thipperudraswamy. I have written book on personality development system. Today, we are here to discuss mainly about the theories of leadership. Theories of leadership. There are about 8 main theories of leadership. Okay, some people do ask what are these theories and all. I think 90% of the students in their schools and you have studied about what is a theory and all, theorems and all in mathematics and all. So basically, we have some other definition. These are like group of general proposals or general proposals which is accepted by 90% of the specialist, okay, and is correct and is used for the explanation and describing the class of phenomena. So understood, very simple. These are general proposals, okay, general proposals accepted by 90% of the specialist and is correct and is used for explaining and describing some class of phenomena, okay. That is what is the definition of leadership. So different book gives different definition. So for me, this definition I thought is most suitable definition. Now basically, so what I'm trying to say here is the leadership. What type of leadership and what is leadership? This thing we have discussed. But now we'll learn some. This is the question asked to me by a Sri Lankan student, and I don't remember the name. He was saying that, sir, what are the theories of leadership? Yes, correct. And he was mainly worried about definition of theory. I think, see, theories definition you will learn in your school days only. So no need to go in detail about what is a theory, what are theorems. No. So what exactly is? These are group of general proposals accepted by 90% of the specialists and is correct and is used for explaining and describing some class of phenomena is your theory. Okay. Now we are thinking about the leadership theories of leadership. Again, similarly, theories of motivations are there, theories of intelligence are there, theories of management are there, and theories of personality are also there. So different theories. So I am planning myself, Dr. Thipperudraswamy. I have written book on personality development system book, and everything is there in the book. And these videos I am trying to make the people more aware of the book and more when they study and they need to understand more. That's why I am doing these videos. And I am planning myself, Dr. Thipperudraswamy. I have written book on personality development system, and I am planning to do a Guinness Book of World Record in the longest speech marathon by speaking about the personality development system book for more than 100 hours. So and let's see to what extent I may be successful. So now, for my point of view are very clear and is very simple. What I'm trying to explain here is the theories of leadership. So there are 8 major theories of leadership. Simple concept. 8 major theories of leadership, and in that we have GTB, PSC, TT. The mnemonic is GTB, PSE, TT. G stands for great man theory, yes. T stands for traits theory, yes. B stands for behavioral theory, yes. P stands for participative theory, and S stands for situational theory. C stands for contingency theory, yes. And T stands for transformational theory and transactional theory and transformational theory. Transactional theory and transformational theory, yes. That is very important rather than anything else. Okay, these are the 8 theories, very simple theories. So theories definition I have told. These are group of general proposals accepted by 90% of the people, and they are correct and they are used for explaining and describing some common class of phenomena. That is very important rather than anything else. Okay. So now we discuss what is exactly these things are and where we are worried about, what exactly it is and all. So we'll discuss in detail now. So myself, Dr. Thipperudraswamy, I have written book on personality development system. So now basically the first thing which comes to your mind is great man theory. Yes, great man theory, very important thing. See, great man theory, as the name itself suggests, great man theory. Great man, what they're trying to say here, leaders not Leaders are inherent. That means leaders are born, not made. Earlier, this concept was there because no one is there to teach them leadership and all. And what they are only if they have a fighting spirit, if they have that threshold, if they have that energy, if they have that positive perception, then only they can move forward. It was like that. So that's what they are trying to say. It is leaders are born, not made. Whatever you do, whatever training you give, whatever the things you make him to understand about leadership and personality and these things, if you won't apply it, if you won't utilize it, it is waste. You cannot make him as a leader. That is the basic thing which you have to remember. Whatever possible, that's what I was telling in my earlier videos also. My book tells you the depth of the ocean, but you yourself have to swim. My book tells you the height of the sky, but you yourself has to fly. Likewise, so whatever may be the situation, whatever may be the consequences, you yourself have to prove. Rather than proving, you need to improve. That is very important. Yes, so now the great man theory, yes, it was earlier, why man means, earlier in the ancient days, this great man theory was in relation to the military leaders, and it was they thought these leadership qualities are more in the male rather than in the females. At that time, more males were there in the military, and they thought this is possible only with the males. That's why they thought this great man theory. Man, why the word man? Because earlier in ancient times they thought males have more of the leadership qualities than the females. That was their intention while designing this theory. And basically what they are trying to say, it is the leaders are not made, they are inherent, they are born, and as and when the situation demands, they are destined, they are oriented, they are concentrated, they are focused. As and when time demands, their leadership quality comes out. That's what they're trying to say. So leaders are born, not made. That is the main thing in the great man theory. And mainly man, why the word man? Because it was designed mainly for the military leaders, and the military leaders 90% were males only, and they thought this leadership quality is more in males rather than in the females. That was their intention. Okay, now what I am trying to say, great man theory. Okay, great man theories assume that the capacity for a leadership is inherent, and that great leaders are born, not made. And these theories often portray great leaders as heroic, mythic, destined to rise to leadership when needed. And the term great man was used because at that time leadership was thought primarily as a male quality, especially in terms of military leadership. The great man theory of leadership became popular during 19th century. Yes, of course, the great man theory of leadership became popular in 19th century, and the mythology behind some of the world's most famous leaders such as Abraham Lincoln, Julius Caesar, Mahatma Gandhi, and Alexander the Great helped to contribute to the nation that great leaders are born, not made. In many examples, it seems as if the right man for the job seems to emerge almost magically to take control of situation and lead a group of people into safely or success. Group towards safe and success. Very simple concept there, what they're trying to say. The great man theory of leadership became popular during the 19th century, yes. And the mythology behind some of the world's most famous leaders such as Abraham Lincoln, yes. Julius Caesar, yes. Mahatma Gandhi and Alexander the Great helped to contribute to the nation that great leaders are born, not made. In many examples, it seems as if the the man for the job seems to emerge almost magically to take control of a situation and lead a group of people into safely or toward the success. That's what matters. Yes, that's a great man theory. Historian Thomas Carlyle also had a major influence on his theory of leadership at one point, stating that the history of the world is but the biography of the great man. So it's whenever we speak, it's the history of the world, What is a biography of great man? According to the Carroll, the effective leaders are those gifted with divine inspiration and right characteristics. Divine inspiration. Yeah, divine inspiration and right characteristics. Great leaders, yes, that you should have to remember. The history of the world is but the biography of the great man. Yes, that's very important. So some of the earliest research on leadership looked at the people who were already successful leaders. Yes, some of the earliest research on leadership looked at the people who were already successful leaders, and these individuals often included the aristocratic rules who achieved their position through birthright. So, because people of the lesser social status had fewer opportunities to practice and achieve leadership roles, if contributed to the idea that leadership is an inherent ability. Yes, that's whatever they are trying to say is correct. But because of the lower socio-economic status, because of lack of money, there should not be any difference in gaining the leadership skill. Though it is a lead inherent, due to lack of the money or lack of the comfort, it should not happen like that. They cannot achieve that. That's the problem. That's what they're trying to say. So that is very important rather than anything else. So remember, great leaders are born, not made. Exactly correct. But if the person is there in the low socio-economic status, for him the earning food for his stomach is a big event, and how can he become a leader? That's what the first question which comes to our mind. See, these are theories step by step, okay? And also the equal opportunities to be given to everyone, even though leaders are born. See, we all speak about lily, even though there is a little bit bad thing surrounding, but the flower, lily flower, is a very beautiful, and the people go and take that flower. It's a very beautiful flower, lily flower. You all know about it. So likewise, I'm not saying that all the leaders were rich. No, I'm not saying that. But still, what the question which was arising in the mind of the people is great people, great man theory. Yes, of course, the leaders are born, not made. But if because of the lack of facilities, because of the lack of opportunities, and because of the lack of these things, if the lack of money and lower socio-economic, how they can become a leader? That's what they are trying to say and discuss. That's actually a correct point. For that, we'll discuss. And even today, people often describe the prominent leaders as having the right qualities and personality for the position, implying that inherent characteristics are what make these people effective leaders. So, in other way, what they're trying to say, even though you don't say that they are the great leaders, you don't say that they are worst. You say that they are the worst people, but still, what they're trying to say here is, even though they are, if for example, one king is there, his son, even though he doesn't have any leadership qualities, he has to become a leader. That's what they're trying to say. That should not happen. If that happens also, according to our great man theory, he cannot sustain. Only the person who has a leadership qualities, leadership personality, and the leadership characteristics can only be an effective leader, rather than the person, the king's son is a king, likewise, minister's son is a minister, chief minister's son is a chief minister, prime minister's son is a prime minister. That doesn't work. But what works to the maximum is your characteristics, qualities. Those things worse rather than anything else. That is very important. Okay, so that is about your great man theory. I repeat once again, great man theory was mainly designed by keeping in the mind of the military people. So the word man, because in the military they were they were men only. Okay, and also, and they what they are trying to say, leaders are born, not made. And whatever the qualities, the fighting spirit, the characteristics and the qualities of a leader, what they are trying to explain, should be there in the leader. Okay, and it will be there. What they are trying to, according to this great man theory, what they are trying to say, it will be there in the person, and it will come out as and when required, and they will be very much focused, they will be very much destined, they will be very much oriented, and they will be having leadership qualities inherent. Okay, and as and when requires, it comes out. That's what they're trying to say according to a great man theory, and it's okay. That's correct only. And but the question, the controversial thing in case of great man theory was the lower socioeconomic groups. Yes, they were born. See, the higher social, the rich people. King's son is a king. Okay, prince. Okay, king's daughter is a princess. Even though they don't have any leadership qualities, even though they don't have the characteristics of a leader, a personality of a leader, they have to behave like a leader. That's what they're trying to say. For that, the explanation is, even though the king's son is a king, he will be king and he will be a leader if he has only the leadership qualities, if he has only the leadership personalities. Otherwise, he cannot withstand or he cannot sustain. That is what the explanation is. Understood? And if the person, the king's son is a king, he does not have the qualities, he does not have the characteristics of a leader, characteristics of a leadership personality, then he will fail. But similarly, at the same time, even though person is there in the lowest socioeconomic group, but he has the personality, qualities, and the characteristics of a leader. As the time when the time demands, he definitely open up and he will become a leader for sure. Okay, that's why. So money doesn't matter. So all leaders are not rich. This is also one thing which you have to remember. So every doctor is a leader. All leaders are not rich. Okay. Yes. Next thing which comes to our mind is yes. Next theory. This is about great man theory. That's a very simple concept. Nothing more to worry. Okay, very simple concept. Today we are discussing mainly about the theories of leadership. So now comes the trait theory. Trait theory assumes that the people inherit certain qualities and traits that make them better suited to leadership. They inherit certain qualities and traits. The trait theory often identify particular personality, behavior or behavioral characteristics shared by leaders. If a particular traits are the key features of a leadership, how do we explain the people who possess those qualities but not the leaders? So very simple. Particularly traits are the key features of a leadership. Then how do we explain the people who possess these qualities? Okay, see, the question is, one of the difficulties in using the trait theory to explain the leadership. But most acceptable theory, this trait theory is. Trait theory suggests that individual personalities are composed broad dispositions. Individual personalities are composed broad dispositions. Consider how you would describe the personality of a close friend. Okay. The great trait theory suggests that individual personalities are composed broad dispositions. Okay. And so consider how you would describe the personality of a close friend. Chances are that you would list a number of traits such as outgoing, kind, even-tempered, short-tempered. Okay. So that's what they're trying to. Outgoing, kind, short-tempered, even-tempered. The trait can be thought of as a relatively stable characteristic that causes individual to behave in certain ways. The trait can be thought of as a relatively stable characteristic that causes individual to behave in certain ways. The trait approach to personality is focused on difference between the individuals. The combination and interaction of the various traits forms the personality. Okay, combination and interaction of various traits forms your personality that is unique to each individual. Okay, trait theory is focused on identifying and measuring these individual personality characteristics. Individual personality characteristics. Very simple what they're trying to say in the trait theory. Whenever, for example, what are these trait? Trait means, so whenever you are asked to explain about your friend or your some person, Okay, whenever you ask to explain about your friend, what do you say? He is a short temper person. He is a calm person. He is a kind person. He is a bit a disturbed person. See, likewise, you explain the individual with some of the qualities. Okay, so it's a trait. These are all traits. And what this trait theory suggests, you measure in the individual those characteristics. What are his traits? And collect it. In that you see which are suitable for a leader and judge it. That is what your trait theory, and this is applied for your personality also. Okay, so very simple. This trait means, hey, he's a short temper person, he is a broad view person, hey, he is a calm person, he's a kind person. See, likewise. Okay, the characteristics you study, observe, and you list it down, and in that you see which are your leadership qualities, leadership traits, and measure it, and you identify it. That's what is your trait theory mainly tells you about. Okay, Mr. Gordon Allport's trait theory. In 1936, a psychologist, Mr. Gordon Allport, found that one English language dictionary alone contained more than 4,000 words describing different personality traits. One English, okay, in Mr. Gordon Allport's trait theory. In 1936, Mr. Psychologist, he is a psychologist, Gordon Allport, found that one English language dictionary alone contained more than 4,000 words describing different personality traits. He categorized these traits into 3 levels. Yes. Cardinal traits, yes. Central traits and secondary traits. Cardinal traits, central traits, and secondary traits. So very simple. All discoveries are like this only. Some psychologist, Mr. Gordon Allport is a psychologist. In 1936, he saw one dictionary. In that dictionary, there was a thing which was explaining about 4,000 words regarding different personalities. Mr. Gordon Allport was a psychologist. In 1936, he saw one dictionary. In that, there were about 4,000 words explaining about the personality itself, and he grouped them into 3 cardinal, central, and secondary traits. The dictionary was exploring 4,000 traits, personality traits. Okay, so we'll go. What is this in detail? So what they're trying to say here. Allport psychologist. Yes, cardinal traits. Traits that dominate an individual as a whole, individual's whole life, often to the point that the person becomes known specially for these traits. Known specially for these traits. People with such personalities often become so known for these traits that their names are often synonymous with these qualities. Consider the origin and meaning of the following descriptive terms: Freudian, Machiavellian, Narcissism, Don John, Christ-like, etc. Allport suggested that cardinal traits are rare and tend to develop later in life, that dominate an individual's whole life, and often to the point that the person becomes known especially for these traits. People with such personalities often become as known for these traits that their names are often synonymous with the traits. Yes, this I have observed it. Okay, and consider the origin and meaning of the following descriptive terms: Freudian, Machiavellian, Narcissism, Don John, Christ-like, etc. Allport suggested that cardinal traits are rare and tend to develop later in life. Yes, that is very important. Central trait. These are the general characteristics that form the basic foundation of personality. These are general characteristics that form the basic foundation of personality. These central traits, while not as dominating as cardinal traits, are the major characteristics you might use to describe another person. Terms such as intelligent, yes, central traits, these are the general characteristics that form the basic foundation of personality. Cardinal traits, they are utilized later in the life, but throughout the individual's life, and sometimes the individual being called with the names. Yes, he is some person. I have seen our in the Nimans, our Ravi sir is called by the name Virus Ravi, because he has done so much research in the virality itself. Okay, and Guinness Book of World Record, some Salvarajam, he is called as Guinness Salvarajam. So likewise, these are the traits they are being called, and they enjoy those things. Okay, so that is, those are the cardinal traits. The central traits, these are general characteristics that form the basic foundation of personality, and these central traits were not as dominating as the cardinal traits, and are major characteristics might you might use to describe another person. Okay, they're not dominating, but the cardinal are dominating, very much dominating, and that will be with that person throughout his life. And terms such as intelligent, honest, shy, anxious are considered as central traits. Okay, so intelligent, honest, shy, anxious are your sentinel traits. Secondary traits, these are the traits that are sometimes related to attitudes or preferences, and often appear only in certain situations or under specific circumstances. Certain situation or under specific circumstances. Some examples would be getting anxious when speaking to a group, or an impatient while waiting in line. So secondary traits, these are the traits that are sometimes related to attitudes, preferences, okay, often appear only in certain situation and under specific circumstances. Say for example, I would be getting anxious when speaking to a group, or impatient while waiting in a line. The traits. So understood? Very simple, and you need to understand better. Very simple. It would be Mr. Trait theory. What exactly trait theory is focused on difference between the individuals, and we call the individuals with the we observe him, and we call them with the names. Yeah. So we call them. Yeah, he is very intelligent, anxious. Like what? I mean, we say that. Okay, and a tempo, short tempo, outgoing, kind. Okay, these are the traits which are observed. We will observe, and the main importance of trait is the collection. You observe an individual, you make a note of what are the traits you are observing, and later you do one thing, that you see that these are the leadership trait, yes or not. Yes, you find it, you measure it. That's what is your main trait theory is. So very simple. Traits are the things which are there in the individual, okay, which are there in the individual, okay. And this is almost also next to your great man, this was discovered, and according to this, the major thing and major concept in the leadership in theory here is the people, individual people. We describe the people. For example, our friend, we describe how he is very kind person, he is very short tempered, he is even tempered, he is very anxious. Likewise, we describe our friends with the traits. Okay, he is very joyful person, he is very interesting person. Likewise, we describe him with names. That is what is your traits. So what this theory of traits theory suggests means, you just note down about the traits of the individual, and you see, measure that which is related to his the leadership, and maximum if he has more than 50% of the traits related to leadership, then you can call him as a good leader. That's what this trait theory states. But our Mr. Cardinal Allport is a psychologist. Okay, he's a psychologist. In 1936, he observed that there are about 4,000 words in an English dictionary describing about these traits, and he grouped into three: one central, cardinal, central, and secondary. Cardinal means these are the traits which will be there with the individual throughout his life, and these are dominant traits. Dominant traits. Sometimes it will be added to their names. Chess Anand, Vishnathan Anand, we all know Chess Anand. Like, and Valsarajam is there, Guinness Valsarajam, because he has done a Guinness Book of World Record. Okay, and in the Nimans there is one microbiologist by name Ravi sir, and he is called with the name Virus Navi because he has done maximum research in the virology. These are like, it will be added to their names, and it will be there throughout their life. It will be there throughout their life. Okay, and the next thing which you have to remember is the cardinal traits. Cardinal traits are things like, say for example, these are not dominant, but they are required for performing. They are required for performing the things, and they are required for the personality. Okay, they are required for the personality. What are these? We say, for example, we say an individual is yeah, what are these Gordon reports? Yes, the central traits, cardinal traits are the dominant, and that will be there throughout his life. And the central traits, they say intelligence, honesty, shy, and anxious. Intelligent, honesty, shy, and anxious. These are the central traits, and they won't be there with their throughout life, but it will be there. They describe their personality. Okay, and the last but not the least is the secondary traits. Secondary traits are conditional, and that will be there with the individual in certain circumstances, certain situations. Say for example, when he is in the queue, he is restless. Okay, when he will be waiting in the queue, he will be restless, and when he will be speaking to a crowd, some people are anxious. Okay, so that is the thing. Those are all secondary traits. I repeat, very simple. Traits are like individuals. We describe our friends or family people. He's a very short tempered, he's a kind person, he's an even tempered person, he's a calm person. These are all the traits. And you observe in the person whom you want to say he has a leadership quality or not, and you list down the traits, and you take it which are suitable for the leadership, and later you say you measure it and you declare it. That's the one point. And Mr. Cardinal Aliport is a psychologist. In 1936, he observed that in an English dictionary there was about 4,000, more than 4,000 words describing about the traits, and he classified into three: cardinal, central, and secondary traits. Secondary traits are the traits which are seen in certain conditions, circumstances. Like say for example, he will be anxious when he will be waiting in a queue, and he will be anxious when he will be speaking to the crowd. And the next comes your cardinal. Cardinal are the dominant traits that will remain with the person throughout his life. Say for example, the Valsarajam, Mr. Valsaraj Farooqi. Okay, he's done a Guinness Book of World Record in longest speech marathon, and he's Guinness Valsaraj. So it's a tag to his name itself, those traits. Okay, likewise. Okay, and I told about our Nimans Ravi sir, who is been known to everyone as virus survey because he has done maximum research in virology. Likewise, they are called cardinal traits, and the central trait is very simple. That is very important, which you have to remember. That is central trait is the central trait. Yes, central trait. Yes, central trait is like it describes your personality, and these are like common things. For example, honesty, intelligence, shy, anxious. Honesty, intelligence, shy, anxious. These are all the central traits. The major traits which are related to you are like he's just like a Christ. Yes, he serves like a Christ. He looks like a hero. Ritik. Yes, Ritik. For example, his name is Arun Ritik. Likewise, it is added. Those are all the traits. That's what they're trying to say. Okay, so that is about your trait theory. Next, we go for GTB. B stands for behavioral theory. Yeah. Trait theory, yes. While most agrees that people can be described based upon their personality traits, theories continue to debate the number of basic traits that make up a human personality. While trait theory was objective, that some personality theories lack, and it also has weakness. Some of the most common criticism of the trait theory centered on the fact that the traits are often poor predictors of behavior. While an individual may score high on assessment of a specific trait, he or she may not always behave that way in every situation. Another problem is that the trait theory do not address how and why individual differences in personality develop or emerge. So very simple. The drawback of trait theory they are trying to say. Yes, that also you should understand that the drawback is mainly they say that when you measure it, the individual will behave at one situation in one way and in another situation in another way. So whatever the traits you have measured, that is not sustaining. That is the problem. So trait theory, some people again personality, they describe the personality with this trait theory also. So what they are trying to say with the trait theory is a flop only because as you measure the sum of the traits with this trait theory, they are not sustainable. In some other condition they behave in a different, and in some condition they behave different. That is very important. That's what they're trying to say. So this is basically about the trait theory. So that's why it was a flop, but no problem. But even trait theory of personality is also there, and some people do agree. I don't know, but it's a drawback is there. Trait theory, the traits and the way they behave, that differs. That's a major drawback. Major drawback of the trait theory is the traits are different, and the way in which they behave, that is different. Okay, if the day, for example, some people say he is a very honest person. In some other circumstances, he won't be honest. He is a very calm person. Some other circumstances, he is not calm. That's what the difference. And they are not. A trait theory does not explain the individual difference in the traits. That's the drawback of your trait theory. Understood? Very simple concept. You need to understand it. Okay. Now we have the behavior theory. Behavioral theory of leadership are based upon the belief that great leaders are made, not born. Again, are made, yes, not born. Yes. See, again, controversial. Again, you see, no, in the theories there will be exact controversies. Okay, very simple. Behavioral theories of leadership are based upon the belief that the great leaders are made, not born. You know, whenever you go to a training, a leadership training program, whenever you go to a personality training program, the people will be saying that great leaders are made but not born. So this behavior theory applies there. But it's possible. But whatever you do, whatever you think, understand. But ultimately, you yourself have to swim. You yourself have to fly, and you yourself have to behave. Okay. Okay, I have told about critical thinking and all. Okay, we'll go with the behavior theory. Behavior theories of leadership is based upon the belief that the great leaders are made, not born, are rooted in behaviorism. This leadership theory focuses on the actions of leaders, not on mental qualities or internal states. According to this theory, internal states, they only actions. Okay, yes. And according to this theory, people can learn to become leaders through teaching and observation. Yes. So very simple what they are trying to say here, leaders are made, not born. Again, it is mainly here this behavior theory main focused upon the actions rather than the mental qualities or internal states. They are not worried about those things. But according to this theory, people can learn to become leaders through teaching and observations. The behavior psychology is is a theory of learning based upon the idea that all the behaviors are acquired through conditioning. Conditioning occurs through interaction with the environment. According to behaviorism, behavior can be studied in a systemic and observable manner with no consideration of internal mental states. There are two major types of conditioning. Okay, so very simple. Behavior theory, the behavior psychology is a theory of learning based upon the idea that all the behaviors are acquired through conditioning. So what they're trying to say here is, with the conditioning, you can acquire the behavior. That's it. AC, acquired behavior. ACB, acquired behavior with conditioning. That's what they're trying to say. According to conditioning occurs through interaction with the environment. Yes. According to behaviorism, behavior can be studied in a systemic and observable manner with no consideration of internal mental states. Yes, according to behaviorism, behavior can be studied in a systemic and observable manner with no consideration of internal mental status. Yes, systemic and observable manner. Okay, no problem. So this is a behavioral psychology. Whatever behavioral science, behavioral psychology they speak, they say that. So it is nothing to concern with his internal status or mental status. It's only by conditioning you are going to learn the behavior. That's what they are trying to say. Yes, say for example, if there is hot, you do this. That is what conditioning, conditional behavior. If there is a cold, you do this. If there is this type of situation, you behave like this. And the person is exposed to that type of situation, and he is made to behave in that way. That's what is conditioning. Okay, that there are two major types of conditioning. One is the classical conditioning and other is the operant conditioning. Classical conditioning is a technique used in behavior training in which a naturally occurring stimulus is paired with a response. Naturally occurring stimulus is paired with a response. These techniques are also useful in the treatment of phobias and anxiety problems. Naturally occurring stimulus, say for example daylight. Some people have a fear of coming to daylight. Yes, it's coupled. Yes, if you go to daylight, you will get food. If you go to daylight, you will get rewards. Likewise, conditioning is all like this. Okay. Say for example, some people are phobic to sunlight. Yes, if they are phobic to sunlight, then you tell them if you go to sunlight, you will get vitamin D. So you will get good food. Your food will be digested. And you say you will get a chocolate. Okay, that is what conditioning with the natural stimulus. Okay, and anxious or anxiety, we all know that that can be prevented with again natural stimulus. Say for example, when you are anxious, you better drink water. When you are anxious, some of the things again this all goes to your psychiatry. But I am not going about psychiatry. I am not a psychiatrist. Also, I am mainly worried about the doctors who can improve their personality with the small amount of knowledge about the personality and personality development system book, such that they can work efficiently and they can think efficiently. That's what my concern is all about. So this is again behavioral theory, conditioning, classical and operant conditioning. We'll discuss the classical conditioning. In the classical conditioning, we have that's natural stimulus. Mainly phobias are okay. Operant conditioning is a method of learning that occurs through rewards or punishments of behavior. Say for example, if you say that if you run for a sports athletes, if you run 2 kilometers today, you will get chocolate. That is a reward. Punishment, if you run 2 kilometers today, tomorrow if you don't run, tomorrow you should run 4 kilometers plus. Through operant conditioning, an association is made between the behavior and a consequence for that behavior. So that is like operant conditioning. Okay, so this is what, and very simple. Okay, see, behavioral theory, again this all theories. Okay, behavioral theory says that leaders are made, not born. Whatever may be his mental status, whatever may be internal status, if you teach him the behavior, he can behave better. That's what they are trying to say. And that too with the conditioning learning. So there are two types of conditioning: classical and operant conditioning. Classical conditioning is with the natural stimulus you condition in the morning, in the night, in the afternoon, likewise, or any other natural stimulus. Okay, so for that matter, you learn, you teach him the behavior. That is classical condition. Next comes the operant condition. Operant conditioning is here you will give him the reward or punishment. For example, I gave an example of athlete. If you run 2 kilometers today, you will get a chocolate. That is a reward. If you don't run 2 kilometers today, tomorrow you need to run 4 kilometers. That's a punishment. Here the behavior and the result are interlinked with a reward or punishment. Yes. Now, example for operant conditioning. Again, we can find examples for operant conditioning at work all around us. Consider in case of children completing the homework to earn a reward from the parent or teacher or employee, finishing the project to receive a phrase or promotion. In these examples, the promise of or a possibility of rewards causes an increase in behavior, but operant conditioning can also be used to decrease behavior. The removal of an undesirable outcome or the use of punishment can be used to decrease or prevent undesirable behaviors. For example, a child may be told they will lose privileges if they talk out of turn in the class. Yes, the potential for punishment may lead to decrease in the descriptive behaviors. Yes, that's a very, very, very important thing. Again, descriptive behaviors, and you need to learn about descriptive behaviors. Okay. Yes, that's about your behavior theory. So very simple theory. So I repeat once again. Last time I really want to repeat it. Yeah, the problem with the behavior theory is these rewards causes increase in the behavior, but operant conditioning can cause use to decrease the behavior also. Increase in behavior and decrease in behavior. Conditioning, because of the conditioning, what is an increase? Yes, If you give a yes, what is happening, and the decrease in the behavior. Say for example, if you talk in the class, you will be sent out of the class. You will be won't be given marks. Likewise, if you given a reward, a punishment, that will decrease in the behavior also. That's what they're trying to say. And yes, very simple. Once again, I just want to explain about the behavioral theory. Behavioral theory is very simple. They say that leaders are made, not born. Whatever may be his mental status, whatever may be his internal status, whatever may be the thing, mentality, whatever it is, but if you teach him conditional behavior, he can become a good leader according to the behavioral theory. The conditional can be of two types, either classical or operant conditioning. Classical is suggested is linked with the natural stimulus. It can be either daylight, moonlight, or anything. Okay, natural stimulus, mainly for anxiety and when phobias this is used. And operant condition is mainly rewards and punishment. Rewards: if you do a homework, you will get chocolate. If you athlete, if you run 2 kilometers, you will get a chocolate. You will get money. So that is a reward. Punishment: if you don't run 2 kilometers today, you will tomorrow 4 kilometers you need to run. If you don't complete your homework today, tomorrow double your homework you need to do. Likewise, these are punishments. So what they are trying to say in operant conditioning, there can be increase in the behavior and decrease in the behavior. If you say that they cannot, if you don't complete 2 kilometers today, you won't get chocolate, or you need to run tomorrow 4 kilometers. There can be again, they'll complete 2 kilometers. They try to do, if you give operant conditioning, like if you complete, you will get a chocolate. If you complete 3 kilometers, you get 2 chocolates. Again, there can increase in the behavior. That's what they're trying to say. And at the same time, there can be decrease in the behavior in terms of descriptive behavior. Say for example, in the class, if you tell the students, if you speak out of the syllabus, or in the class while I am teaching, you will be sent out of the class. You won't be given internal marks. You won't give any told go out for play. If you give this operant conditioning, then the descriptive behavior will be decreased. That's what they are trying to say. Very simple thing, very simple concept. Behavioral theory. Yes, next comes participative theory, participative leadership theory. Yes, participative leadership theories suggest that the ideal leadership style is one that takes the input of others into account. These leaders encourage participation and contribution from the group members, and help the group members to feel more relevant and committed to the decision making process. In participative theory, however, the leader retains the right to allow the input of others. Retains the input of right to allow the input of others. That's very important. In participative theory, how the leader retains the right to allow the input of others. That is what is your participative theory. He realizes the input of right to allow the others. Yes. Here he want involvement of the group, and he want a participation of the group, and he listens to the each and every input what they are giving, and is relevant and committed to the decision making process. He takes everyone ideas and all, and he implements. Situational theory, very simple. This participative leadership theory suggests that ideal leadership style is one of that takes input of others into the account, and these leaders encourage participation and contribution from the group members and help the group members to feel more relevant and committed to the decision making process. In participative theory, however, the leader retains the right to allow the input of others. Very simple concept, participative theory. Again, we'll have a repetition also, no problem. So what they're trying to say in participative theory, here in participative theory, the leader is more worried about the participants, and he takes input from the participants. Yes, and he will be telling the participants, and he will consider the opinion and ideas of the participant, and he will bring those ideas and opinions into action, and he will make sure that the participants are involved in relevant and committed to the decision making process. That is very important. Are relevant and committed to the decision making process. Okay, yes, that is very important. Relevant and committed to the decision making process. Yes. Yeah. They are relevant and committed to the decision making process. Yeah. So now, in the participative theory, the ultimate control is the leader itself. Ultimate control is the leader itself. No one else controls. But he is more worried about the opinion and the ideas of the participants, and he ensures that they are implemented. And in the decision making process, he takes the he makes that the participants are ideas are relevant and committed to the decision making process. That is very important. Okay, that is your participative theory. Situational theory propose that the leaders choose that the best course of action based upon the situational variables. Leaders choose the best course of action based upon situational variables. Best course of action based on situational variables. Different styles of leadership may be more appropriate for certain types of decision making. Situation variables, okay. Best course of action based on post situation variables, and different styles of leadership may be more appropriate for certain types of decision making. Yes. And contingency theories of leadership. Very simple. Situation theories, what they are trying to say, the best course of action is achieved by the leader with the situation variables, and different leadership styles are suited in different situations. That's what they are trying to say. So it is in relation to the situation the leader behaves. In relation to the situation the leader behaves. That is your situational theory. Okay. In relation to the situation the leader behaves. That is your situational theory. So here different leadership styles works. That's what anxious and those things. Styles we'll discuss. Leadership styles we'll discuss later. But what they are trying to say, that situational theory, here the leader utilizes maximum course of action based upon the situational variables. Contingency theory of leadership focus on particular variables related to the environment that might determine which particular style of leadership is best suited for the situation. According to this theory, no leadership style is best in all situations, and success depends upon the number of variables including the leadership style, qualities of the followers, and the aspects of the situation. Yes. So contingency theory is again of leadership focus on the particular variables related to the environment that might determine which particular style of leadership is best suited at that situation. Environmental type, okay, that you have to remember, related to the environment that might determine. According to this theory, no leadership style is suited in all situations. Yes, that's all correct. And success depends upon the number of variables including the leadership style. Yes. Qualities of the followers and aspects of the situation. Aspects of the situation and qualities of followers. Okay. Yeah, that's also right. I repeat, contingency theory again, it is mainly based upon the environment to which the leader and the follower and the situation is there. And they say that all leadership styles, same leadership style won't work in all situations, so all environment. So it definitely leadership type is required, and they say that three main variables: the leadership styles, the followers, quality followers, and the situation that matters rather than them. Transactional theory, also known as the management theory, here focus on the role of the supervision, organization and group performance. Supervision, organization and SOP. Supervision, organization and group performance. Okay. This theory is based on leadership on a system of rewards and punishment. Management theories are often used in business. When the employees are successful, they are rewarded. When they are failed, they are reprimanded or punished. Transactional theory, again management theory, they say, again here mainly for it depends upon the supervision, organization and group performance. Okay. Transactional theory, or mainly the reward and punishment only. This theory of leadership was first described by Mr. Sociologist Max Weber and further explored by Mr. Bernard M. Bass in the early 90s. Basic assumption of transactional theory leadership. People perform their best when their chain of command is definite and clear. Yes. Workers are motivated by rewards and punishment. Yes. Obeying the instructions and commands of the leader is a primary goal of the follower, and disordinates need to be carefully monitored to ensure that the expectations are met. The four basic assumptions. Very simple. Transformation theory. Yes. So very simple. Four basic assumptions. Again, when you are doing the theory, there will be assumptions and all. So four basic assumptions in transactional theory. So transaction theory is mainly based on the supervision, organization, and group performance. And there are four basic assumptions. There are four basic assumptions in transaction theory, and those assumptions are four basic assumptions. Okay. The first is people perform their best when their chain of command is definite and clear. Yes. Workers are motivated by rewards and punishments. Yes. People perform best when their chain of command is definite and clear. Yes. Workers are motivated by punishments and rewards. Yes. Obeying the instructions and commands of the leader is the primary goal of a follower. Obeying the instructions and commands of the leader. Obeying the instructions and commands of the leader is the primary goal of a follower. Yes. Subordinates need to be carefully monitored to ensure that expectations are met. Need to be carefully monitored to ensure expectations are met. Very simple concept. PWOS, I to say. Yes. People perform better when the command is definite and clear. Yes. Workers get motivated by either rewards or punishment. Yes. Obeying to the instructions and commands of the leader is the primary goal of a follower. Yes. And subordinates are to be carefully taken care such they ensure that the monitor and carefully monitor such that ensure that the expectations are met. Okay. Carefully monitored. Subordinates are to be carefully monitored to ensure that expectations are met. Subordinates need to be carefully monitored. To ensure that expectations are met. Subordinates need to be carefully monitored. Yes. To ensure that expectations are met. Subordinates need to be carefully monitored. Yes. Subordinates need to be carefully monitored to ensure that expectations are met. Yes, subordinates need to be carefully monitored so that okay, yeah, very simple. They say supervision, organization, and group performance. Transaction theory. So now, which the last thing which you have to remember is transformational theory. Hello. ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆ. The transformational theory is mainly based upon the concept that the transformational theory is the relation theory. It's a relationship theory, also known as the transformational theory, and focus upon the connections formed between the leaders and the followers. Hello. ನಾನು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಪಾಠ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ಅದು ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ನಮ್ಮ ಕ್ಲಾಸು ನಿಮಿಷ ತಾಳು ಆಮೇಲೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. So transformational theory, yes, relationship, it's also known as transformational theory, is also known as the relationship theory. Yes, also known as the relationship theory. It's focused upon the connection formed between the leaders and the followers. The connection formed between the leaders and the followers. Transformational theory, yes, it's also known as relationship theory. The transformational leaders motivates, inspires people by helping the group members see the importance and higher good of the task. These leaders are focused on the performance of the group members, but also want each person to fulfill his or her potential. Leaders with the style often have high ethical and moral standards. Ethical and moral standards. The components of transformational leadership is intellectual stimulation and the individual consideration. Intellectual stimulation, the transformational leaders not only challenge the status quo, they also encourage the creativity among the followers. The leader encourages the followers to explore new ways of doing the things and new opportunities to learn. Yes, new ways of doing the things. Intellectual stimulation means mainly not only the status quo, he tells him the new ways of doing the things and exploring the new opportunities to learn. Individual consideration, transformational leadership also involves offering the support and encouragement to the individual followers in order to foster a supportive relationship. The transformational leaders keeps the lines of communication open so that the followers feel free to share ideas, and so that the leaders can often direct recognition of each follower's unique contributors. Each followers are unique contributors. Okay, very simple. Individual consideration, transformational leadership also involves offering support and encouragement to the individual followers. Yes, in order to foster a supportive relationship, the transformational leaders keep lines of communication open so that the followers feel free to share ideas, and so that the leaders can offer direct recognition of each followers unique contribution. Yes, so they have a line of demarcation, communication, okay, lines of communication open, okay, such that they get the unique contribution from each follower, okay. And inspirational motivation, idealized influence. Very simple. The components of transformation leaders, first one is intellectual stimulation, yes, individual consideration, and inspirational motivation. Yes, transformation leaders have the clear vision that they are able to articulate to followers. Yes, the leaders are also able to help followers experience the same passion, motivation to fulfill these goals. Yes. Idealized influence, okay, the transformation leader serves as the role model for the followers, because the followers trust and respect the leader. They emulate the leader and internalize his or her ideas. Emulate leaders and internalize his or her ideas. Yes, very simple. This I think problem with this transformational only. Transactional is easy because it is related to the business companies like supervision, organization, and group performance. Yes. So in their assumptions, you know that PWOS, P stands for people perform better when they have a good command. Definite is and clear. Yes. Occurs punishment and rewards. Yes. Obeying to the instruction is obeying instruction commands of the commander of the leader is the primary goal. Yes. Subordinates should be taken care to ensure that their expectations are fulfilled. That is the assumptions. Okay. I repeat, transactional theory is mainly based on the supervision, organization, and group performance. It's mainly employed in the companies, business companies, and mainly here the assumptions are there. Four main assumptions are. The first thing is you need to people perform better when when the command is clear and definite. Yes, the workers are motivated and inspired by punishments and rewards. Yes, and the subordinates should be taken carefully such that their demands are fulfilled. Yes, and expectations are fulfilled, met. Okay, and the followers should follow the leader, what commands and orders of the leader. That's what those are assumptions. Okay, so now we are worried about transformational theory. Very simple. Transformational theory is very simple. Here there is a definite transformation. Yes, transformation. There is a clear relationship between the leader and the follower in case of transformational theory. because the leader transforms these followers into again leaders. That is what transforms. Leader transforms the followers into leaders. It's definitely a relation between the leader and the follower here in case of transformational theory. Yes, and they motivate and they inspire people by helping them and by understanding them, and this is one of the important stage in management. And transformational leaders, again, they have four important components. One is intellectual stimulus, individual consideration, and inspirational motivation, and the idealized influence. Yes, intellectual stimulation means transform leaders. They not only challenge the status quo, they also tell their followers to explore new opportunities and to do the things in a newer way. Okay, do the things in a better way and newer way, and to challenge, to explore the new opportunities. Individualized consideration means there is a line of communication is open up, and they such that they observe each individual follower, and they take contribution from each and individual follower. Okay, and inspirational motivation, again they move with the same passion and motivation to fulfill their goals, the followers. And idealized influence means they think the leader as their role model. Okay, that is what is idealized behavior. Okay, very simple. Okay, I think we are done with the theories. Again, we need to conclude. Before conclusion, we have to revise. Okay, so very simple, the theories of leadership. Okay, so theories of leadership, I remember it as JTB, TSCTT. J stands for Great Man Theory. It was mainly designed by keeping in the mind of the military people, and that's why the word man, and they thought that more leadership qualities are more seen in case of male rather than in females. That's why that word, and according to this, leaders are born, not made. The qualities will be inherent, leadership qualities. Okay. Trait theory. Traits are the things which we observe in our friends, like he is very much short-tempered, very much calm person, very much cool, joyful person, likewise. And depending upon the traits, observation of the traits and measuring the traits, leadership traits in the person, we are going to grade the leader. The only problem with this Mr. Gordon Allport was a psychologist who was observing about the traits, and there was about 4,000 words of traits in the English dictionary, in the single English dictionary, and he classified it into three types. One is the cardinal traits, central traits, and secondary traits. Cardinal traits are the major traits which will be there with the individual throughout his life. That's what I was explaining. So we call it as Guinness Valsarajam, because that Guinness will be there with him for throughout his life, because he has done a Guinness Book of World Record in the longest speech marathon. Likewise, Virus Ravi, he has done more research in virology, so he's called as Virus Ravi. Likewise, these traits will remain with them. Some person who looked like a Shah Rukh Khan, yes, he's a trait, Shah Rukh Ravi. So Shah Rukh Prasanna, something like that, tag will be remain. Christ-like, he looked like a Christ. Likewise, he looked like some God. Okay, Ganesh, God. Likewise, so those things will be there with him throughout his life. That is, and they are dominant traits. And this cardinal central traits, like if he is honesty, yes, shy, okay, those things, honesty, shy, and angry, anxious, okay, these are all these central traits, and they are present at that particular point of time, and they define their personality, and again measuring them will help you in doing. And last but not secondary traits are in relation to the situation. Say for example, long way standing in a queue, I get anxious, and he get anxious when he has to give speech to a group of people. So that is again, those are all your secondary traits. Okay, so he gets sweating when he want to give a speech to the group of people. That is your secondary traits. Okay, main disadvantage here is the traits. The traits differs in individual person. Even though we measure the traits, leadership traits in a person, it differs. Individual behaves with such traits behaves different in one situation, and again different in another situation. Again, with the situation, the trait changes. Even though if you say the person has a good leadership traits, he is not able to implement it. Okay, that's the problem with your trait. And even trait theory of personality is also there. Okay, the main disadvantage here is not able to utilize it. The next comes your behavioral theory. Behavioral theory is very simple, very important here. Whatever his mentality, whatever his internal thing, with the conditional training and teaching, with the of the behavior, he can become a good leader. According to this, the leaders are made, not born. Or whatever the training institutions and motivational institutions, whatever is there, behavior training institution, they all run by on this concept only. And there are again conditional, classical conditioning and operant conditioning. Classical depending upon the natural stimulus, like sunlight, moonlight, or anything, and the operant conditioning is depending upon the whatever other stimulus. Say for example, punishment, rewarding, like this. Okay, if you run for an athlete, if you run 2 kilometers today, you will get 1 chocolate. If you run 3 kilometers, you get 2 chocolate. If you don't run, punishment. Tomorrow you need to run 4 kilometers or 5 kilometers. Okay, that will inspire and increases the work. That's what they are trying to say. But in some conditions, again, there will be decrease in the performance, works also. Okay, descriptive behavior. Say for example, in a class, if the students are talking, if you say that if you talk out of the class, out of the syllabus in the class, you will be thrown out of the class, or you won't be given internal marks. Just you utter that word, and there will be silence in that, and their descriptive behavior is reduced. That's what this operant conditioning is all about. Okay. Next comes PSC, participative theory. Participative theory, here the leadership believes that the participants are very important, and he takes into consideration of each and individual ideas of the participants, and he makes sure that they are involved and relevant in the decision making. Okay, their ideas are involved and relevant in the decision making. That is very important. He takes the ideas and instructions of every participant, and he gives values for that. That is your participative theory. Next comes PSC, situational theory. Situational theory is depending upon the situation, the behavior changes. Depending upon the situation, the behavior changes. That is what is called as situational theory. Yes, definitely correct. Whatever you are trying to say is definitely correct. Situational theory. Yes, depending upon the situation, your behavior changes. Yeah. Here, the leadership behavior changes according to situation variables. Okay. Again, what they say, different leadership styles are going to help you in handling this different situation. Okay. This we can discuss better when we discuss about leadership styles. Okay. Emotional intelligence and all there. Okay, we'll discuss later. Okay. Next thing is your PSC. C stands contingency theory of leadership theory. Here again, depending upon the situation only, he behaves, but environment. Along with the situation, the environment also matters. That is what your contingency theory. And here the environment means the followers. The followers means again the quality of followers and the time you spend with them. That what matters. That's what is your contingency theory. And next comes your TT, transactional theory and transformational theory. Transaction theory is mainly useful in the companies. There, the supervision organization group performance is very important, and there are assumptions. Again, mainly the P stands for people work better when their command is defined and clear. Workers work better with motivation, rewards and punishment. Okay, gets motivated with rewards and punishment, and each follower should follow his commands and orders of the leader. And the subordinates should be treated in a good manner, taken care and ensure that their priorities are fulfilled. Okay, those are assumptions. And the transformation theory, it's very important. There is a definite relation with the leader and the follower. This leader transforms all of these followers into a leader. That is what his transformation theory is mainly about. Here the followers are very important. Here there is a definite bond between the leader and the follower. And the leader he forms a bond with the follower. And again, there are 4 components. The 4 components: one is intellectual stimulus. Intellectual stimulus, he shows he tells the followers the better way of doing the work, and he tells them to explore new opportunities. And that is intellectual stimulus. Second one is they take the followers That is idealized behavior. They believe the their leader as their role models. Okay, and inspirational motivation. Okay, he motivates and inspires the followers with to achieve their goals with the same passion and same commitment, and individualized. Individualized consideration. Yes, individualized consideration. Here there is a line of communication is open for all the followers, such that the leader takes contribution from each of his follower, some of the other contribution from each of his follower. That is what is your transformation theory. Okay, so very simple. I think transformational theory is a very important theory and most accepted theory. Here the leader transforms all the followers into a leader, and there is a definitive bond between the leader and the follower. Here again there are four components. One is intellectual stimulus. So he tells the followers the new better way of doing the things, and he tells them to explore new opportunities. And individualized consideration, there is a line of communication between the leader and the follower is open up, and he extracts he takes contribution from each of his follower. And inspirational motivation, he inspires and motivates that such that the follower does the work with achieve their goal with the same passion and the same commitment. And idealized behavior, they follow his leader as followers think that his leader is their role model. Okay, so myself, Dr. Thipperudraswamy, I have written book on personality development system, and I am planning to do a Guinness Book of World Record by speaking about personality development system book for more than 100 hours. Let's see. Okay, this is mainly about the theories of leadership. Thank you. Jai Ganesh, Jai Shri Ram.